Greetings and good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Wolf, and I'm here in Seattle at Everfree Northwest. It's only the preliminary day right now, but I got my badge, and I'm expecting to do lots of meeting with fans tomorrow morning. And thankfully, I've got this with me, so that should certainly draw a lot of attention. At least it did earlier today. I'm in my hotel room right now, and Josh is in the other room trying to set up a character for me on Dynasty Warriors, and I'm trying to see what kind of progress he's going to make here.
So I finished the character itself, but the problem is deciding the weapon's always the difficult part. Are you a sword person? No, you're not. You're not a sword person. You are definitely not a sword person. Like all these different swords. Yeah, definitely not a sword person. Yeah, you're not a club person. Definitely not a club person. Spear character? No. Might be a protector. Ooh, the fan. That is something totally up your alley. Okay, gonna put that on the backlog.
I'm not entirely sure what to think of this, but
Alright.
Josh wanted to show me something fun, so maybe I'll try some Dynasty Warriors later.
Ooh, you should go with the claws. You know, being a wolf.
No comment. Hello, everyone. I'm actually out here in the main registration area for Everfree Northwest. As you can see, there are people picking up their badges over that way and people walking over around this way. But what I really wanted to show you is that the staff at Everfree Northwest were kind enough to actually give some table space to Silverquill, Josh Scorcher, and myself. And I want to do a quick pan through of everything that we have here. I have been selling artwork on behalf of some of the artists who work with me, and this happens to be my brother, Teric Dragon. He's actually watching Gauntlet of Fire right now because he hasn't seen that episode yet, and dragons happen to be his favorite of all creatures. And here we have a setup from Josh Scorcher, as well as a lovely little setup from Silverquill. All the things they've got on sale. Silverquill has a lovely little t-shirt, and he wants to say hi. Yeah, he's got a little Silverquill plushie on his shoulder. Yes. And I also brought the Dr. Wolf plushie so that everybody could see him up here. Doesn't that look cute? Yeah, I still think that this looks absolutely adorable, by the way. I'm sorry that my lady couldn't be here this weekend, but we would have brought Mrs. Wolf along as well if she had.
I like them all.
Oh! Hopefully you and I are both on doing commissions. Also have commissions.
Yes, I got that. If you want to keep ones that aren't, I didn't, except for the Chinese. You must smash right now. You must.
Yes.
I have a DK2.
It well, here's the thing. The DK2 is still supported by the current runtime, the 1.3. So I support the 1.3 runtime. As long as that supports the DK2, it'll support it. I personally won't be.
Hello, everybody. It's the end of the first day of the convention, and we've done many exhausting things, even though sitting down for a lot of the day at those vendor tables doesn't sound exhausting. Meeting with lots and lots and lots of people and fulfilling requests can get a little overwhelming, especially with all the noise and crowds that keep going around all the time. I'm still a very highly introverted individual, By the way, this here is Teric Dragon, my brother. He's been very helpful today, I really must admit.
Well, I'm more of a glorified gopher, actually. Dr. Wolf pulled me along here so I could be his cameraman and so I could be his actuary, keeping records of all the sales that he makes, so that he can continue talking to people while I enter in all the data and make sure that we've got records of how much money we make. Mm-hmm.
Plus, we have random quoting contests where I've already stumped him a couple of times.
Okay, yeah, you did.
Uh-huh.
There were a couple, and interestingly enough, they were both from an Indiana Jones movie, which I should have gotten.
Yes, indeed. Anyways, there is quite a bit that I want to talk about for this convention. Naturally, the art sales are helpful. There are specific artists that I do want to assist with their future travels. And I've got panels coming up tomorrow, one of which is going to be myself and Full Papers are going to be hosting a panel that is going to be a Q&A session for Andrea Libman and Peter New. And I'm hoping that Teric will be able to get everything on camera, because I've never done this kind of thing before, where I'm kind of the go-between between the staff and people who want to ask them questions. Like
I think the word you're looking for is facilitator.
Facilitator.
Yeah.
Well, that works too. All right. So that's something I'm looking forward to on Saturday. Never done that before, but I got to step outside of my comfort zone if I want to improve upon talents, that kind of thing.
It'll be easy. It'll be easy, because really all you're doing is you're standing up on stage and you are picking people to give their questions. You know, people raise their hand and say, "Okay, look, the lady in the pink in the back," and then for the benefit of the crowd, you usually want to repeat the question and then let the panelists take care of it. That's all you've got to do, really.
We'll see how well that works.
I think you'll do fine.
I'm sure. What else did we do today? Spent a lot of time with Josh Scorcher and Silver Quill because they were sitting next to us at those vendor tables. So
the bantering, I love it. It's great.
The bantering was very fun. He enjoys a lot of the improv that these guys come up with.
Yeah.
A lot of pictures were taken, a lot of autographs were signed, and after we had packed everything up for the day, Teric had encouraged me to spend some time in the Tabletop Gaming room and showed me this brand new game. What's the name of that game again?
It's called the Red Dragon Inn. Now, a lot of your viewers may already know what that game is. It's not a brand new game. It's actually been out for a while, but this is the first time that he has seen and played this game.
I had never heard of it before now. But, yeah, he and I have a lot of similar interests on what really intrigues us, what challenges us. So he figured if he just showed me how to make it work, then I could get into it rather quickly. And after about, 10 minutes explanation, I picked up on it.
Yeah. Well, we both. We like games that encourage us to think and strategize and figuring out the best way to play the game so that you can win and that kind of thing. So, and then Red Dragon Inn, for those of you who don't know the game, it is a card game where you pretend that you're a group of adventurers who has stopped in a tavern, the classic trope, a group of adventurers who have stopped in a tavern for the evening, and they are sharing stories, they're drinking, and kind of beating each other up.
Yes.
And so everybody gets a card where they have they have fortitude on one side, and they have alcohol content on the other side.
Yeah.
And every time you take a drink, you add a certain amount of alcohol, and every time you get hurt, you lose a certain amount of fortitude. And if those ever meet,
then you're out of the game.
Right. All right.
So it was fun to see who could get the most sloshed, I suppose.
So
I should mention that neither Teric nor myself ever drink alcohol.
No, we're not drinkers,
right?
And we're not gamblers, and we don't really fight either, do we?
No, we don't.
So, but anyway, the really cool thing about the Red Dragon Inn is that there are a bunch of different characters, and every character has a different play mechanic.
Yeah.
You have a deck of cards for your character, and there are some of the cards between decks are similar with each other, but there are a lot of cards that are unique to that character. And
he played this tiny little pixie, a little fairy pixie, who has a giant wolf as a pet.
As a
So,
familiar.
throughout the game, this little wolf would have a different behavior every round, and every time he'd pull up a new card, he'd say, What are you doing? You're breaking up the furniture. Why are you doing this?
There's one card that I pulled out. Well, the wolf is named Wolfric. Funny.
Nah.
But one of his behaviors is destructive. And it says that, and the consequence of that is every time my character earns money, I have to pay 1 gold to the inn, to the tavern, to pay for all of the destruction that my dog is causing. And so I kept yelling at the deck of cards, this inanimate deck of cards. I was yelling, "Bad dog, bad dog!" And there's another time that another behavior that he has, that every time that the pixie takes damage, you actually decrease the damage by 1 because the wolf covers for her and all that kind of thing. So it's kind of a wild card, and you get some benefits and some penalties and stuff. But it makes the game a lot of fun.
Well, it makes it fun because this guy in particular, he role plays. He role plays so hard in everything he does. I am not nearly so in your face when I'm playing a game like that. I'm basically, oh, yeah, I guess I'm doing this right now. Teric, on the other hand, he has to act out every part. He has to make sure that you understand, that you can visualize everything that's happening to you.
Like, for example, one of my cards is, Wolfric, no, those are our friends, not food.
Yes.
And so I was pretending like I was yelling at the dog saying, "No, don't bite the troll, come on." But yeah, and so it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of potential for role play. And eventually what ended up happening...
I should explain what I was doing first.
Go ahead.
I ended up playing as the last character that nobody else picked because I never played it before, and I wanted to make sure everybody got to do what they wanted. So I was this little gnome tinkerer who was inventing things in between taking drinks and gambling and everything else. So it's interesting little tidbits where the gears would sometimes do what you want them to, and other times they'd blow up in your face or blow up in somebody else's face, and you're like, oops, I'm very, very sorry.
Usually that's what you wanted. You had to like spark on someone or blow up in someone else's face. That poor paladin.
So the way it ended up, this was my first time playing again. I managed to knock out one player, and then I managed to knock out another player, which was, believe it or not, he played a card and I blocked his card. He blocked the block of my card, and then I blocked the block of his card, and it was kind of going back and forth, and I just barely managed to take him out as well, and it was down just to the 2 of us.
Yes.
And it was my turn.
All right.
And I noticed that he didn't have much gold left, because if I could run him out of gold, he'd be run out of the game.
Yeah, I had 2 gold coins left, and he had this huge stack of gold pieces. There was no way I was going to outspend him.
I guess I was the much better gambler that game than he was.
I was supposed to be the better gambler.
Yeah, and I blocked the way you were going to get your money.
See, he kicked me out and said, never mind. Okay, anyway, so here I am with 2 gold pieces left. We have a situation where my dog is being destructive, so I'm going to lose money. If I earn any money, I lose it. And then we're almost at the point where all the drinks had run out, and then everybody has to pay another gold piece in order to get more drinks.
Right.
So we were at a point where he could have very easily set it up so that I would lose my 2 remaining gold and win the game.
Yes.
However, there was a drinking challenge that came up.
Yes, I drew a drinking challenge that I could choose whether or not to accept. And if I did, I would have to draw a couple of cards that would increase my alcohol content. And as long as it stayed under a certain number, I could make sure that he would have to pay me because I was successful with the challenge. And then immediately we'd run out of drink cards and he'd have to pay another one and be out of gold. I thought that if I didn't take this challenge, that he would have a way of gaining an amount of gold somehow next turn, and I had to take it out right now. I had to just have fun with it and see if I could get through the risk.
So it was make or break it time.
Yeah. I ended up having to draw extra cards because the alcohol, was it a chaser?
There was a chaser on the card.
I
so
don't
you had
know.
to draw an additional drink card.
I don't know these terms. We don't drink.
No, we don't drink.
So it ended up where I had just barely enough to where the fortitude and the alcohol level met, and I had to be kicked out of the game. And if it was even just one less,
Then
I would have
lost.
run out of gold. I would have run him out of gold, and I would have won my very first time playing that game because I had already knocked out the 2 other players, and I felt like, yeah, I had gotten the hang of everything. But no, cards were against me, and it made for a good story because he was very joyful and jumping up and down at the end.
It was really luck of the draw.
Yeah.
And, it's a game of skill where you have the dreaded random number generator that can really change the game around. And we enjoy those kinds of games. It's a lot of fun.
I like being able to play something where no matter how good you get, you can still lose to someone who's never played ever before. It's incredibly frustrating, but I like those learning experiences.
So you can run away from it or
Learn from it.
learn from it. Very good.
Yes. And that was one of the highlights of the evening. We were intending on doing karaoke night because he had been saying all day he wanted to do that with me.
Yeah.
I wanted to get it on camera because I know a lot of people wanted to hear us sing. The speakers would not work. There was no sound coming out. So it was basically people in the room singing the songs, but no music to go with it. And we figured that's probably not going to work so well.
And plus, they were holding karaoke in one of the smaller rooms.
Yeah.
And so they had 30 people gathered in like about a 20-foot by 10-foot space, and it got really hot.
Yeah.
And so we're thinking, okay, the speakers aren't working. Everybody's singing a cappella. We're not going to be able to hear the music. It's really hot. Let's not do karaoke.
But we still had a highlight of the evening, and I met lots and lots of people today and got some really, really nice fan art, including a piece that was signed by Andrea Libman. I will show that in a future video. But for now, I am looking forward to Saturday and what else the panels are going to bring, and hopefully meeting with even more fans. And yeah, anything else you got?
No, I'm just looking forward to having fun and being your gopher.
You still don't look like a gopher.
I don't?
No, you don't look like a gopher. You have to speak like a gopher, too. Come on.
Say, that works.
Yes.
Well.
I think that's actually a beaver.
No, his name's Gopher. If
No.
you watch the Winnie the Pooh movie, that his name is Gopher.
That works so well.
Yes.
Hmm.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
You're thinking Lady of the Tramp. That's
Wrong
what I thought.
movie.
That's what I thought. He got it
Sorry.
wrong again.
I blew
We're
it.
doing quoting fest, and he's doing the wrong quote.
Face paw. Sorry.
Anyways, and honey.
Honey?
Honey? That's the kind of line you need to do.
No.
Anyways, I look forward to doing much more tomorrow, and leave your thoughts in the comments below if you've ever heard of this game we spent the last 9 minutes talking about, because it's interesting. I don't get the chance to do that kind of thing, and I probably should more often. But in the meantime, as per usual, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.
See you later.